my dear students. I welcome you all for the video class. Today I am going to revise Geography Chapter 3 Minerals and Power Resources. In this chapter already we discussed about what is meant by minerals. Isn't it, children? Okay, then we discussed about the types of minerals, then distribution of minerals, then uses of minerals, then conservation of minerals. Isn't it, children? Then we discussed about power resources, both conventional sources of energy and non-conventional sources of energy. We discussed, no? Have you all remembered this? Okay, I'll give the quick revision about the chapter number 3, mineral and power resources. Okay, children? Okay, what is mean by minerals, children? Yes, are naturally occurring substances that has some definite chemical composition. Isn't it, children? It is known as what? Mineral. Once again, I'll repeat what is mean by mineral. Are naturally occurring substances that has a definite chemical composition is known as minerals. Okay. Then one main important thing is minerals are the backbone of the industrial and technological development of a country. Do you know that, children? Which is the backbone of our industrial and technological development of our country? Yes, minerals. Minerals are the backbone of the industrial and technological development of a country. Okay. Okay, children. Next, tell some features of minerals. First main important feature is minerals are unevenly distributed in the world. Then second one is minerals do not occur in the pure form. Okay. Next, mainly minerals are extracted from the earth crust in the raw form. Okay. Through the process of what? Through the process of mining. Clear, children? Then minerals are less useful in the raw form. They can only used after removing the impurities. Do you know that, children? Yes. Minerals are found in some particular areas of the earth. Mainly they are also present in the oceans and the Antarctic continents. Although these areas are not easily accessible, but still they have a great wealth of mineral resources. Are you understand, children, what I am telling? These are the important features of minerals. Then we'll discuss about the types of minerals. There are enormous kinds of minerals on the earth's surface. Do you know that, children? Yes. On the basis of the composition, minerals can be grouped into two categories. One is metallic, another one is non-metallic. On the basis of what minerals can be grouped into two categories? Yes, on the basis of the composition. Minerals can be grouped into two categories. One is metallic minerals, another one is non-metallic minerals. Okay, children, what is mean by metallic minerals? What is mean by metallic minerals, children? Yes, metallic minerals are those that contain metals in the raw form. Clear? Iron ore, bauxite, manganese, chromites, gold, silver, copper are the main metallic minerals. Clear, children? What is mean by metallic mineral again? Metallic minerals are those that contain metals in the raw form. Okay. Metals in the raw form, that is called as metallic minerals. Clear, children? Give some example for metallic minerals. Iron ore, bauxite, manganese, gold, silver, copper, and so many minerals. Okay. Metallic minerals again classified into two types. One is ferrous minerals, another one is non-ferrous minerals. Okay, children, what is mean by ferrous minerals? Yes, these minerals have high iron content. That iron ore, manganese, then chromites are the example of ferrous minerals. Ferrous means presence of iron. Okay. Then what is mean by non-ferrous minerals? Non-ferrous minerals does not have iron contents. Okay. That is presence of iron. Which one is presence of iron? Ferrous minerals. Non-ferrous is absence of iron. Okay. Give some example for non-ferrous minerals, children. Yes, gold, silver, lead, and the copper are some of the examples of non-ferrous minerals. Okay. Okay, children. Next, we'll discuss about the non-metallic minerals. Those minerals that do not have metals are called as what? Non-metallic minerals. Again on time I'll repeat. What is mean by non-metallic elements? The minerals do not have any metals. Okay, that is called as what? Non-metallic minerals. Give some example for non-metallic minerals, children. Yes, coal, petroleum, mica, gypsum, limestone. These are the examples of what? Non-metallic minerals. Okay. The non-metallic minerals can also be categorized on the basis of their property of luster. Clear? For example, adamantine has a bright color, then gypsum has a seen to silk. Then one important feature is some non-metallic minerals may be greasy, resinous and waxy. Clear, children? The mineral fuels such as coal and petroleum are also comes under what? Non-metallic minerals. Clear, children? Okay, next extraction of minerals. Mainly minerals are extracted in 3 ways. What are they, children? Yes, mining, then drilling, then quarrying. Clear? What are the 3 extraction process of minerals? Mining, drilling, then quarrying. Okay, children, what is mean by mining? Mining is the process of taking out minerals from where? Minerals from rocks buried under the earth's surface. What is mean by mining, children? Once again, it is a process of taking out minerals from rocks. Okay, it is a process of taking out minerals from rocks buried under the earth's surface. Mining is of 2 types. What are the, children? Yes, one is open cast mining, another one is what? Shaft mining. One is open cast mining, another one is shaft mining. Clear? Okay, children, what is mean by open cast mining? Open cast mining is done when a mineral are located very close to the surface. In the open cast mining, different minerals are taken out by removing the surface layer. Or you understand, children, what I am telling? When a mineral are located very close to the surface. In the open cast mining, different minerals are taken out by removing the surface layer. Clear? Open cast mining is famous for coal mining in India. Okay. Next one is shaft mining. What is mean by shaft? The word shaft means to deep bores. Do you know that, children? Yes. In the shaft mining, deep bores are created to reach mineral deposits. Why? Because these deposits lie at great depth. For example, petroleum and natural gases are extracted by the shaft mining process. You understand, children? First, what is mean by mining? It is a process of taking out minerals from rocks buried under the earth's surface. Isn't it, children? Okay, in that we have 2 types. One is open cast mining, another one is shaft mining. Are you clear? We'll move on to next topic. Next one is drilling. What is mean by drilling, children? Yes, through the process of drilling, deep wells are bored to take the minerals out. What is mean by drilling again? Through the process of drilling, deep wells are bored to take the minerals out. Give some example for that, children. Yes, deep wells are made to extract oil and natural gas by Oil and Natural Gas Commission, ONGC of India. Do you know the children? Do you cleared about the drilling, isn't it, children? Okay. Next, what is mean by quarrying? Yes, the process of quarrying is used to extract minerals that lie near the earth's surface. That lies near the earth's surface. What is meant by quarrying again? The process of quarrying is used to extract the minerals that lies near the earth's surface. Okay. Okay. Next we will discuss about the distribution of mineral resources. Mineral resources are unevenly distributed in the world. These are found in different rocks. As earlier discussed, the minerals found in the three types of rocks. Do you know the children? Yes, igneous rocks, metamorphic rocks and sedimentary rocks. Usually, the metallic minerals like iron ore, copper, nickel, chromites, platinum are mainly found in the igneous and metamorphic rocks, whereas non-metallic minerals like limestone, manganese and so many minerals are found in sedimentary rocks. Clear, children? Mineral fuels like coal and petroleum are also found in which type of rocks? Sedimentary rocks. Clear? Okay, children. Continent-wise distribution of mineral resources we'll discuss. Okay. First one is Asia. In that Asia, manganese, iron ore, lead, tungsten, antimony, bauxite, zinc, copper and nickel are the most significant minerals. Okay. Next, Africa. In that Africa is mainly rich in mineral. Okay. Is a mineral rich continent. We may call it as mineral rich continent. It is the largest producer of diamonds, gold and platinum. Diamond, gold, platinum, copper, iron ore, uranium, cobalt, bauxite and chromium are the main minerals found in African continent. Okay. Next one is North America. In that North America has a large deposits of minerals. In North America, minerals are found especially in three zones. Yes, what are the children? First one is Appalachian region, the Great Lakes, then Canadian Shield regions. These are the three regions in North America. Minerals are found in the three zones. Next one is South America. In that iron ore, copper, tin, zinc, gold, silver, bauxite, mica, diamond, platinum, asbestos, chromium and manganese are the most significant minerals of South America. Clear, children? Then Europe. Europe is a leading producer of lead, zinc, manganese, nickel, copper and iron ore. Then next one is Antarctica. In that, though Antarctica is not much suitable for human settlements, but it has a variety of mineral deposits. One is coal, then iron ore, silver, gold and mineral oil. Are these significant minerals are found in where? Which continent? Yes, Antarctica continent. Children, these areas are given in your book, so you have to read it. Then Australia. In that Australia is the leading producer of bauxite in the world. Okay, it is the leading producer of copper, lead, zinc, manganese, gold, diamond, iron ore, nickel and tin. What we discussed so far, these are the minerals which are distributed throughout the world. Okay, children. Next, what are the main uses of minerals? First thing is minerals are used in many industries. Then the minerals which are used for gems are usually hard, Then minerals are also used in bottling industries, buildings, even in the kitchen cookwares, and so many things. Okay children, next we will discuss about the power resources. Power energy plays a vital role in our lives, isn't it children? Yes, we also need power for industry, agriculture, transport, communication and defense. Power resources may be broadly classified into two types. What are they children? One is conventional sources of energy, another one is non-conventional sources of energy. Okay children, what is mean by conventional sources of energy? Yes, the resources that have been in common use for a long time, that is known as conventional power resources or conventional sources of energy. The resources that have been in common use for a long time, that is called as conventional power resources. Give some example for that children. Yes, first one is what? Firewood, then coal, then petroleum, natural gas, then tidal power. Okay children? Okay children, what is mean by non-conventional power resources or non-conventional source of energy? Yes, non-conventional sources of energy or non-conventional power resources are those that comes from the natural resources or comes from the natural resources. Clear children? These energy resources do not come from the fossil fuels. What is mean by non-conventional power resources children? These type of resources or these type of power resources are those that comes from the natural resources. Clear? These energy resources do not come from the fossil fuels. Okay, give some example for that. Yes, first one is solar energy, then wind energy, then nuclear power, then geothermal energy, then tidal energy. At last we discussed about the biogas. Clear children? You just read the chapter line by line children. Then only you familiar with this chapter children. Okay. In that we discuss two types of resources, power resources. Isn't it children? Yes. One is conventional or non-renewable power resources. Another one is what? Non-conventional or renewable resources. Okay. In that, what are the examples for conventional resources? Yes, firewood, coal, petroleum, natural gas and tidal power. Isn't it children? Yes. What is mean by firewood? Yes, firewood is mainly used by the villagers to cook meal or boil water to warm up houses during winter season. Okay, these are the main uses of firewood. Okay. Firewood have both advantages as well as the disadvantages. Okay children, next we'll discuss about coal. Okay, how it is formed children? Yes, coal is formed from the remains of the decayed plants, trees, leaves and grasses. Okay, mainly the coal formation took millions of years. Okay, millions of years. It is generally found in which rocks children? Yes, very good, sedimentary rocks. Okay. Next one is petroleum. The word petroleum means what children? Yes, the word petroleum is derived from two Latin words. One is petra and another one is oleum. Okay. Petra means rock, whereas oleum stands for what? Oil. Okay. Which means petroleum means rock oil. Okay. Next one is natural gas. It is an eco-friendly fuel. Then it can be used for both the industrial and domestic process. Okay. Then it creates less population or more population children. It creates less population as compared to coal and petroleum. Next one is tidal power. Tidal power is nothing but electric power generated by the falling water is called what? Hydropower. Clear, children? Next, non-conventional power resources. In that what we discussed, children, is solar energy. These are the examples: solar energy, wind energy, and so many things. What is meant by solar energy, children? Is the energy derived from the sun rays is called what? Solar energy. Okay, children. Next one is wind energy. What is mean by wind energy, children? Yes, the moving wind possesses a great energy in that motion. Okay, these strong winds can rotate the windmills, which is connected to that generator to produce what? To produce electricity. Clear, children? Moving wind possesses a great energy in motion. These strong winds can rotate the windmills, which is connected to the generator to produce what? To produce electricity. Next one is nuclear power. What is meant by nuclear power, children? Nuclear power is obtained through the fusion or fission. Okay, nuclear power is obtained through the fusion or fission of two radioactive elements like uranium and thorium. Okay. At last, we will discuss about the geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is obtained from the heat of the interior of the earth. Okay, geothermal energy is obtained from the heat of the interior of the earth. Okay, generally the geothermal energy is derived from two Greek words. One is geo, another one is thermi. Geo means what, children? Geo denotes to earth, whereas thermi stands for what? Heat. Clear, children? I hope you all understand this chapter clearly. Okay, children, we'll revise question and answers from this chapter. Children, first question: where are minerals found? Minerals are found in different types of rock. Metallic minerals are found in igneous and metamorphic rocks formation. Okay, that forms a large plateaus. Give some example for the children. As iron ore in North Sweden, copper and nickel in Canada. Okay, then igneous and metamorphic rocks in South Africa, iron, nickel, chromites and platinums are found. Okay. Next one is non-metallic minerals. Non-metallic minerals mainly found in sedimentary rocks. Okay, the limestone deposits are found in France. Mineral fuels such as coal and petroleum are found in sedimentary strata. Clear, children? Where are minerals are found? What is the question? Where are minerals are found? In the two types of minerals. One is metallic minerals and another one is non-metallic minerals. Metallic minerals mainly found in igneous and metamorphic rocks. Okay. Non-metallic minerals are mainly found in sedimentary rocks. Clear, children? Okay, children, we'll move on to next question. Next question is write common uses of minerals. First one is minerals are mainly used in many industries. Okay, they are used to make various styles of jewelry. Then copper is another metal used in everything from coins to pipes. Okay. Then silicon. Silicon is used in the computer industry. Mainly silicon is used in which industry? Yes, computer industries. It is obtained from where? It is obtained from quartz. Okay. Aluminium obtained from its ore bauxite that is used in automobiles and aeroplanes. Then bottling industry, buildings and even in the kitchen cookware also minerals used. Children, once again I will repeat the uses of minerals. First, minerals are used in many industries. Okay, these are used to set various styles of jewelry. Then copper is another metal that is used in everything from coins to pipes. Okay, Then silicon. Silicon is a metal which is used in the computer industry, is mainly obtained from the quartz. Then aluminium. Aluminium is mainly obtained from its ore only. That aluminium's ore is bauxite. Okay, aluminium obtained from its ore, bauxite, that is used in which industries? Automobiles and airplanes. Okay, then bottling industry, buildings, and even the even in kitchen cookware also minerals used. Okay. Okay, children. Next, we'll move on to third question. How minerals can be conserved? What is that question? How minerals can be conserved? Minerals are a non-renewable resources, isn't it, children? Yes. It takes thousands of years for the formation and concentration of minerals. The rate of formation is much smaller than the rate at which the humans consume these minerals. Okay. Are you clear, children? It is necessary to reduce the wastage in the process of mining, okay, quarrying, drilling. Then recycling of metals is another way in which the mineral resources can be conserved. How the minerals can be conserved, children? First, minerals are non-renewable resources. It takes more than 1000 years for the formation and concentration of minerals. What is that? Okay. Then second one, the rate of formation is much smaller than the rate at which the human consume these minerals. Then we need to reduce, it is necessary to reduce the wastage in the process of extraction of minerals. During that extraction, we need to reduce the wastage, especially the process of mining. Okay. Then next point is recycling of metals is another way in which the mineral resources can be conserved. Are you clear, children? Okay, children, we'll move on to next question. Next one is write a note on biogas. What does that mean, biogas, children? Yes, organic waste such as dead plants and animal materials, then animal dung and kitchen waste can be conserved into them, into a gaseous fuel that is called as biogas. Okay. Are you clear? What is meant by biogas? The organic waste such as the dead plants and animal materials, then animal dung and kitchen waste can be converted into a gaseous fuel that is called as biogas. That fuel is called as biogas. Okay. The organic waste is decomposed by bacteria in biogas digesters to emit biogas, which is essentially a mixture of methanol and carbon dioxide. In the above screen, methanol is mistaken, so you have to change it methanol, methanol. Okay, children, you have to change it and write. Keep it in your mind also. Okay. And one more point is biogas is an excellent fuel for cooking and lighting. Okay, that time it produces a huge amount of organic manure. Manure also spelling mistake, manure. Okay, children, organic manure each year. Children, once again I will repeat, just listen, children. First, write a note on biogas. What is meant by biogas? Okay, what is it? It is that question. What is the answer? Means organic waste such as dead plants and animal materials, then animal dung and kitchen waste can be converted into a gaseous fuel. And that gaseous fuel is called biogas. Clear, children? The organic waste is decomposed by bacteria in biogas digesters. In that to emit biogas, which is essentially a mixture of methanol and carbon dioxide. Okay, children? Children, are you clear with this question? Next, biogas is an excellent fuel for cooking and lighting. And at the same time, it produces a huge amount of organic manure each year. Children, are you clear with this question? Okay, we'll move on to next one. Next question. How is hydroelectricity produced? Hydroelectricity is produced from the energy possessed by water falling from great heights. How it is produced, children? What is the first point? Hydroelectricity is produced from the energy possessed by water falling from great heights. Okay. Then rainwater or else river water stored in dams is made to fall from heights, great heights. Okay. Children, are you understand? Okay, next point is the falling water flows through pipes inside the dam over the turbine blades placed at the bottom of the dam. Okay, the moving blades then turn the generator to produce what? To produce electricity. This is called as hydroelectricity. Are you understand, children? The water discharged after the generation of electricity is used for what? Is used for irrigation. How is hydroelectricity produced, children? Once again. Hydroelectricity is produced from the energy possessed by water falling on great heights. Okay, what is the first point? Hydroelectricity is produced from the energy possessed by water falling from great heights. Okay. Then rainwater or else river water, that doesn't matter, stored in a dams that water is made to fall from great heights. Okay, that falling water flows through pipe inside the dam over the turbine blades placed at the bottom of the dam. Okay, the moving blades then turn the generator to produce what? To produce electricity. That is called as what? Yes, hydroelectricity. That after the process, after the generation of electricity, that water will be discharged for irrigation. Clear? Children, are you clear with this question? Okay, children, I'll move on to next question. What are the advantages and disadvantages of conventional sources of energy? Tell children. Yes, what are the advantages? Just tell me. First, I'll tell the general advantages. Okay. First, power resources like hydel power are eco-friendly and cheap. Isn't it, children? Yes. Then discharge water from the hydel power promotes fishing and irrigation. Okay. Then what are the disadvantages, children? As hydel power plants need much space to generate power, which finally causes the displacement of local community. Yes, this is a problem for many people, isn't it, children? Yes. Setting a hydel power plant is very expensive. It needs some huge sum of money. Then main advantages, oil is easier to transport and coal is easily available. Isn't it, children? These are the main advantages. Then firewood is easy to access. No, that is also a good advantage. Then firewood provides energy to a large number of people. Then it is a cheap mode of domestic fuel also. Okay, what is the main disadvantages of firewood, children? Yes, excessive use of firewood is responsible for deforestation. It is a main thing, no? Yes, excessive use of firewood is responsible for deforestation. Then burning of firewood and coal release carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, which promotes the greenhouse effect. Then collection of firewood is a time consuming process. That is also a main disadvantage. What are the advantages? Once again, I'll repeat, children. Yes, oil is easier to transport and coal is easily available. Okay, then firewood is easy to access. Then firewood provides energy to a large number of people. Then what are the disadvantages, children? Once again, firewood causes greenhouse effect that leads to deforestation and is a source of pollution. Okay, that is a main disadvantage. Then idle power causes displacement of local community. Then it is also very expensive to set up that. Now you are clear with that question, children? Okay. We'll move on to next question. Next one is give a comparative study of conventional and non-conventional sources of energy. First, we will discuss about the conventional sources of energy. Okay, conventional sources of energy are those which have been in common use for a long time. Okay, children. Conventional sources of energy are those which have been in common use for a long time. Okay. Then what is the second point? Most of these energy resources, example coal and the firewood, causes pollution when we use that resources, isn't it, children? Yes. Then conventional sources of energy can be exhausted due to overconsumption. Due to overconsumption, conventional sources of energy can be exhausted. Then they are very expensive, isn't it, children? Yes. Coal, petroleum are very expensive only, no? They are primarily used for industrial and commercial purposes. Okay, children, we'll move on to non-conventional sources of energy. In that, what is that first point? Non-conventional sources of energy refers to the resources that are identified by few decades ago. Non-conventional sources of energy refers to the resources that are identified by the few decades ago. Give some example for the children. Yes, solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy. These are the good examples of non-conventional sources of energy. Okay. Then what is the second point, children? They do not cause any pollution. Okay. For example, solar energy will take. In this process, the sun rays are trapped in solar cells to generate what? To generate the solar energy. Like any other form of energy, the solar energy also needs to be converted into what? Electricity. Yes, very good. This is done by using the photovoltaic cell, children. This is done by using what cell? Photovoltaic cell. These cells are like semiconductors. Why? Because that converts the sun energies directly into electricity. That what is that use of that cell, children? It like a semiconductors. So it directly converts the sun energy into electricity. That solar energy is widely used in heating water, then street lighting, traffic signals, then sterilizing cans and milk bottles, and solar cookers, solar dryers, and so many things. What is the main thing is it do not cause any type of pollution. Okay. Then we'll move on to next point. Non-conventional sources of energy cannot be exhausted. Conventional sources of energy can be exhausted due to what? Due to consumption. Okay. Then non-conventional sources, they are mainly used for domestic purposes. Okay. Children, are you clear with this point? They are mainly used for which purpose? Domestic purposes. Then last point is they are comparatively less expensive. Clear, children? Okay. I'll revise once again. Conventional sources of energy are those which have been in common use for a long time. Okay. Non-conventional sources of energy refers to the resources that are identified a few decades ago. Give some example for non-conventional sources of energy, children. Yes, solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy. These are the examples of non-conventional sources of energy. Okay, we'll move on to conventional. In that, most of these energy sources are coal and petroleum. Coal, petroleum, then firewood causes pollution when we use that. When we use these resources, the pollution will cause. pollution will cause the environment, isn't it, children? Okay. If we use non-conventional sources of energy, means that they do not cause any pollution. Okay. We'll move on to again conventional sources of energy. Conventional sources of energy can be exhausted due to what? Due to overconsumption of these resources. Then non-conventional sources of energy cannot be exhausted. Okay. Then the conventional sources are very expensive when compared to the non-conventional sources of energy. Then conventional source of energy is mainly used for industrial and commercial purposes, but non-conventional sources of energy is used only for domestic purposes. Children, clear, children? I hope you all understand this chapter clearly. Okay students, we'll see in next video class. Thank you students.